Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. So, Vladimir Putin sat down with Megyn Kelly for an interview on NBC. Apparently, there was part of the interview that NBC did not show. So, I'm going to show that part of the interview. Now, you can find the entirety of the interview online. You can compare the NBC interview with the entirety of the interview to see for yourself. But in this case, I'm going to show you the part that they left out. It is fair to say, let me make sure I didn't check my, there we go. I'm sorry. There we go. There we are. There we go. Yeah, so interview with Vladimir Putin. Now, for all the hysteria that's taking place in the United States, screaming the sky is falling, Russia's gonna eat your babies, Russia's gonna eat your babies and puppies. Shouldn't we at the very least hear from the person who all of this is targeted at, who all of this is aimed at? All of this has been aimed at one person, as if that one person is responsible for Hillary Clinton losing to a reality show host. Let's hear from Vladimir Putin himself, the part that they left out of NBC News. And, by the way, when I push against some kind of war thing, I am anti-war. I don't like this idea of positioning us in hostile territory with other countries unless there is an absolute need for us to do so. If there are barbarians at our gates, I am with you wholeheartedly. There are no barbarians at our gates. We are creating the monsters where we are going to hunt. In this case, we are positioning ourselves against a nuclear power nation. That is exactly and entirely what's taking place. I'm going to let you hear Vladimir Putin himself say it. This is not me being an advocate for Vladimir Putin. This is not me being an advocate for the Assad government. None of those things. My basic argument is, why do we have anything to do with it? It is none of our business. Get us out of Syria, we're there illegally. Get us out of those other countries, we're there illegally. Focus on the affairs in the country to which you find yourself. It's just a basic position. I don't like this idea of interventionist wars. We are saber-rattling in a way that is extraordinarily dangerous. Alright, yeah, I'm just let you hear him. This video is not going to be long. This is Vladimir Putin talking to Megyn Kelly about, I guess, the election and a few other things, but primarily the election.
Я вас прошу меня все-таки выслушать и довести до ваших зрителей и слушателей то, что я сейчас скажу. Вот мы дискутируем с нашими американскими друзьями и партнерами, причем с представителями государства. И говорим, когда они нам предъявляют претензии по поводу того, что какие-то русские вмешивались в выборы в США, мы им говорим, совсем недавно, вот, на очень высоком уровне, но вы-то постоянно вмешиваетесь в нашу политическую жизнь. Вы представляете, они даже этого не отрицают. Что же они нам ответили вот последний раз? Они нам сказали, да, мы вмешиваемся, но мы имеем право на это, потому что мы несем демократию. А вы нет, вы не можете. Вы считаете это цивилизованная, современная постановка вопросов в международных делах? На уровне правительства Российской Федерации, на уровне президента Российской Федерации. Никогда никакого вмешательства во внутренние политические процессы в Соединенных Штатах не было и нет. Вот недавно президент Трамп сказал очень правильную вещь. Он сказал, что если Россия ставила перед собой цель посеять хаос, то она вот этого добилась. Но это произошло не из-за нашего вмешательства, а из-за вашей политической системы, внутренней борьбы, неразберихи и противоречий. Россия здесь совершенно ни при чем. Абсолютно. Мы не имеем к этому никакого отношения. У себя разберитесь сначала. А вот такая постановка вопроса, о которой я сказал, что вы имеете право вмешиваться везде, потому что вы несете кругом демократию, а мы нет, она и порождает конфликты. Надо с уважением относиться к партнерам, и тогда будут с уважением относиться к вам. Да, я могу вам тогда другой вопрос. А зачем вы способствовали государственному перевороту на Украине? Ну зачем вы это сделали? Вы прямо публично признали, что истратили на это миллиарды долларов. Публично же ваши официальные лица об этом сказали. Зачем поддерживать госперевороты? вооруженную борьбу поддерживать на территории других стран? Зачем вы поставили ракетные системы вдоль наших границ? Прошу меня.
I'm going to play this again. I'm going to play this again. I love this clip. I absolutely love this clip. I watch, every so often, regular mainstream news. And in watching regular mainstream news, reading the papers and everything else, if you're watching it on television, there is a very specific point of view that they give you when they're watching it on television. They may tell you that the United States is doing certain things, but they don't put it in the context of what the United States is actually doing and the ghastly things that take place when the United States is doing it. Mr. Oblivious Chuck Todd may bring up weapons in the Ukraine, but they're not going to bring them up in the context that the United States is supplying weapons to Ukrainians that are going to use those weapons to kill Russians. They don't bring up the fact that Obama is funding terrorists in Syria, and those Syrian terrorists are going to attack Syrians and use those weapons to attack Russians, especially if Russians are helping them. They don't get across that some of the weapons that Obama gave was used to shoot down a Russian jet. That doesn't come across in mainstream media. What he asks is an absolutely fair question. Why do you get to invade other countries and mingle in the affairs of other countries, but we don't? What makes you so fucking special? Is that not a fair question? It's a question I ask. It's the question I continuously ask. Going back for an entire year, I've asked the exact same question. Why on earth is there a separate set of rules for the United States versus the other countries in the world? I don't like the policies that Vladimir Putin espoused. I don't like the policies that Donald Trump put forth. I don't like Donald Trump at all. And I would wager that I probably wouldn't like Vladimir Putin all that much either if I knew him. But this has nothing to do with them. This has everything to do with the way we've organized ourselves and what we allow as a world and as a society. He is right. When Donald Trump put a bullet in the Trans-Pacific Partnership, he was absolutely right. When he wanted to have a détente with Vladimir Putin, he was absolutely right. You can have people that are horrible people but make good points. Just because a person is horrible doesn't necessarily mean they're not bright, and doesn't necessarily mean that what they're saying is absolutely wrong. He may have a fuckfest of things going on in this country right now that is probably a flat fact and absolutely true. Yes, he is cracking down on surveillance, and yes, he is cracking down on certain people in the society. And yet, it doesn't make what he just said any more wrong or any less true. I'm going to play this again. I want to talk about it as we go through it.
Меня все-таки выслушать и довести до ваших зрителей и слушателей то, что я сейчас скажу. Вот мы дискутируем с нашими американскими...
If you want to change the world, start off by making your bed.
...представителями государства. И говорим, когда они нам предъявляют претензии по поводу того, что какие-то русские вмешивались в выборы в США, мы им говорим, совсем недавно, вот, на очень высоком уровне, но вы-то постоянно вмешиваетесь в нашу политическую жизнь. Вы представляете, они даже этого не отрицают. Что же они нам ответили вот последний раз?
First part, you're constantly invading in our political life. Do you know that when Soviet Union went belly up, we made certain promises to the Russian government? We won't take advantage of your collapse. We won't expand NATO closer to your borders. And we broke both of those. Some Americans got magnificently rich out of the failures and the dropping of the Soviet Union, meaning when it fell apart. You had hundreds of thousands of human beings died based on the policies that was put through in the Soviet Union, in Russia at that point, with the help of some Americans who were going to make a buck off the transition. This doesn't even include Bill Clinton sending people over to help Boris Yeltsin win the election using these kind of marketing strategies deployed from the United States. We intervene into their politics. We've intervened in their political space. Do you realize that when the Russian Revolution took place, the United States, along with some other Western powers, actually sent military into Russia itself? They've never had troops on our border. We've had troops in their country. Let's keep going.
Они нам сказали, да, мы вмешиваемся, но мы имеем право на это, потому что мы несем демократию. А вы нет, вы не можете. Вы считаете, это цивилизованная, современная постановка вопросов в международных делах на уровне правительства?
This is the question of fairness and standards. Do you have moral standing? That's what he's asking. You get to intervene into other countries' affairs because you're spreading democracy. Is that a civilized way to go about international affairs? We can do it, but you can't. Nah. Is that the way to go about political affairs? Is that not a fair question? I don't care who's asking the question. Is it a fair question? That answer is yes. Why does the United States get carte blanche right to go into one country after the next to mingle in their elections? Everybody knows that we do it. It's not even a secret. Why is that fair? How do we get to do that? But the moment that another country does it, whether it's Russia or some other country, they're the bad guys. They need to have sanctions. All of these things need to happen to them. We invaded a country and killed 1 million people. We completely destabilized our region of the world. Nobody went to prison over that. There were no sanctions over that. There's an arrest warrant for the CIA director that's in Europe. But nobody renditioned her to get her ass in Europe in order to be prosecuted. No consequences. But we're looking at Russia at this point and saying, you guys don't have a right to do the exact same thing that we ourselves do in one country after the next. Is that a way to go about international affairs? That's a good question. Let's keep going.
Российской Федерации, на уровне президента Российской Федерации. Никогда никакого вмешательства во внутренние политические процессы в Соединенных Штатах не было и нет. Вот недавно президент Трамп сказал очень правильную вещь. Он сказал, что если Россия ставила перед собой цель посеять хаос, то она вот этого добилась. Но это произошло не из-за нашего вмешательства, а из-за вашей политической системы, внутренней борьбы, неразберихи.
Two things. At the level of the Russian government, there's been no political dickery or fucking around with your political system. I have no idea if that's true. That may or may not be true. I don't particularly care. And the wording of the language and the political way in which this was said, I have no idea. Maybe he's telling the truth. Maybe he's not. I have no idea. Were there Facebook and Twitter ads? Yes. Do I care about the Facebook and Twitter ads? No. Is Facebook and Twitter ads the same thing as interacting in the political sphere or interacting political level? I have no idea. I don't know what he means when he says that. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't particularly care. I don't care. Our issues, our problems. Russia's not on that list. Beyond that, he says something else. Your problem here is your political system. If the goal of Russia was to sow discord and discontent, then they would have magnificently succeeded. And his point is, the result of this is not Russia. The problem and the reason that you have this is because you have a political system that is completely antagonistic and is willing to stick a knife in Lady Liberty if it means that they're going to get the slot of the presidency. You have a cutthroat political sphere. Hillary Clinton putting out this idea of slaying Donald Trump with his bromance with Vladimir Putin because he wanted to have a daytime. Find the thing that's the strongest attribute of the candidate, Donald Trump being, I want to make peace, the American public wants to make peace, and hit him with it. Hit him in the knees with it. Slay him with that particular bromance with Russia. If you need to get people red-baited, if you need to get xenophobia, whatever you need to do, slay him with this thing with Russia. He has a bromance with Russia. Clearly, there's something going on with Russia. He's a Putin robot. He has money in the mob, and they have the hooks in him that controls him like this animatronic Donald Trump. Slay him with Russia. Make it hurt. He has an association with Vladimir Putin. Make people believe that there's a bromance going on. Putin is grabbing his ass when nobody is looking. Make him believe it. And get the press out there to make those people believe it. That's your political system. That's not Russia. That's literally the political system itself trying to find ends in order to attack the opponent. In this particular case, the thing that they used to attack the opponent was a foreign government. They've positioned us in a hostile place with a foreign government purely for political ends. What he is telling you is what I've been telling you for the last several months. This is a scam. This is a scam. Let him finish. Let him finish.
И противоречий. Россия здесь совершенно ни при чем. Абсолютно. Мы не имеем к этому никакого отношения. У себя разберитесь сначала. А вот такая постановка вопроса, о которой я сказал, что вы имеете право вмешиваться везде, потому что вы несете кругом демократию, а мы нет, она и порождает конфликты. Надо с уважением относиться к партнерам, и тогда будут с уважением относиться к вам.
You can interfere anywhere you want, but we can't. Get your affairs in order first. Okay? It's a little pointy, but okay. Not to mention, it's not fair that you can interfere in whatever country you want to interfere, as if it's a unipolar world, but we can't control our spheres of influence. Meaning, my association with Syria or my association with Iran, these are my allies. I am right here beside these countries. China is my ally. We can assist one another in the sphere of influence to which we have. If you're not going to respect that, there's going to be conflict. You are in Syria illegally. That is going to be a cause of conflict. You are a terrorist in that country, meaning the United States. The United States is not supposed to be there. We are in that country illegally. That war is illegal. Most of those wars are illegal. There is no document that Congress has made that has given the authority for the president to go through one country after the next. His point is, how on earth do you guys justify being able to go into all of these countries? How do you justify funding terrorists in the Ukraine in order to attack Russians? How do you justify putting terrorists in Syria in order to undermine that government and keep that civil war going on? How do you justify assisting Saudi Arabia murdering Yemenis? How do you justify these things? And with a straight face complain that Russia is doing something else in another country? How do you do it? How does your mainstream news report it in such a biased and tilted way? How do you pull that off with a straight face? Let's keep going. He's almost finished.
Да, я могу вам тогда другой вопрос. А зачем вы способствовали государственному перевороту на Украине? Ну зачем вы это сделали? Вы прямо публично признали, что истратили на это миллиарды долларов. Публично же ваши официальные лица об этом сказали. Зачем поддерживать госпереворот?
He said, why do you support government coups? You put $1 billion into the thing in Ukraine. Why do you support government coups? You've just destabilized the country. You've been spending billions of dollars. Why are you doing that? Can Vladimir Putin ask that question? These are questions that I myself have asked, which is why I'm flagging this and bringing this up. The point of view that the media gives you completely washes this away. You would not hear this particular point of view, but this particular point of view has merit, and this particular point of view is true. There are some times where you're in an argument where both people are right, both people are wrong, one person is right, one person is wrong, somewhere in between. It just depends on the argument. What Putin is saying is true. It doesn't make him a better person. It doesn't mean that he's a good guy and all this other stuff. No. He can still be a bad guy and say things that are absolutely true. In this case, the evidence is on his side. So this is what he's using when he's making this point. This is the other side of the argument. That's my point. That's why I'm playing it. Let's let him finish. But he's right. Why are you spending billions of dollars to overthrow that government? How many people could you have fed with those billions of dollars? How many people could you have clothed in California and put into houses with those billions of dollars that you're spending in coups in Ukraine and Syria? Is that not a fair question? Is that not a fair question?
Вооруженную борьбу поддерживать на территории других стран. Зачем вы поставили ракетные системы вдоль наших границ?
And of course, he was going into, why on earth have you deployed these missile systems at our border? Why? Why? This is somewhat of a NATO issue. Do you understand what's taking place? I guess I'm trying to make this point. We don't function in a vacuum. There are actual other countries out there, and the political reasons that Hillary Clinton used for the Russia's nonsense, there are actual consequences. Do you understand this goes back to 2015 when they had an email saying slay Donald Trump with the Russian bromance? In the book Shattered, it talks about the day after the campaign, she's screaming that she's going to slay Donald Trump with the Russia nonsense. The media reports it. The other people who voted for Hillary Clinton, the Hillbots, that thought she had a 98% chance of winning on the day that she lost the election to a reality show host, they bought into it because they have no paradigm of the world in which that woman could lose to reality show hosts. I don't understand how she lost the reality show host. There had to have been something involved in it. It must have been Russia. They want to believe it, so they believe it. The news media propagates it because they love this idea that the President of the United States may have something to do with a foreign government. And they put asses in seats. And at the end of the day, even though they're promoting or pushing out news, their job is to make cash. They've monetized their reality. You have multiple sectors of your world and your society that is primed to believe something that is, for all intents and purposes, a scam. This is a scam. I am not saying that Russia is a completely fair actor. I'm not saying that Russia may not necessarily mingle in other people's elections. I'm not saying any of those things. And what I'm saying is we don't have a leg to stand on, even if they did. And they haven't proved their case that Russia has something to do with the election. They are slipping and sliding in this narrative, starting with Trump and Russia and ending on a bunch of Facebook ads. Let's be honest for what's taking place. That's what Vladimir Putin had to say about this. I didn't have anything to do with this. You guys need to fix your electoral system. Your issue in this is your political system itself. Now, I would add the context of saying he is right. Hillary Clinton, the vapid and repugnant woman that she is, instead of just taking the loss, she reaches from the grave and puts a knife in Donald Trump with his Russian nonsense. The FBI agent that allowed her to get off was the exact same FBI agent that had found the warrant on Trump. These cases are related to one another. This is the one last stabbing at thee from the grave in order to delegitimize the presidency itself, while at the exact same token, heading off populist revolts on the left and on the right. Kneecapping Sanders, kneecapping environmentalists, kneecapping Native Americans and Muslims, kneecapping all of these groups, tarring these people with Russia propaganda and Russian nonsense. Sucked all the air out of the room. I wanted you to hear that. I wanted you to hear his part of that, what he had to say about it. All of these people are hysterical and pointing to him as if he's this kind of monster and he's some kind of culprit. I don't know what he is in this country. I don't necessarily assume that he's a good guy. I actually assume he's a bad guy. I assume most political actors are bad guys. Does it mean what he's saying is not true? Does it not mean what he's saying is not true? We have a crowd tonight. Oh, Robert Schultz, great work, Jamal. The mainstream media cut the most important part of the interview. Robert Schultz, I agree, and thank you, Robert Schultz. Stephanie Chateau, Pompeo is a maniac. He must be stopped. Not just Pompeo, Stephanie. The Haspel ran a torture regime in a black site in Thailand. That woman has an arrest warrant out for her by a European court. Both of those people are dramatically horrible. Both. I agree with you, Stephanie. I agree with you. Totally agree with you. They're terrifying. And guys, thank you very much. Stephanie, I appreciate it. And Robert Schultz, I appreciate it. Thank you for the super cash. Thank you very much. Frosty Bucket, smoke a bong with Jamal. That's funny. That would be nice. Also owns a policy think tank. In an ecosystem, the elements that destabilize balance are either removed or absorbed, or the ecosystem fails. Well, we're in an ecosystem that is failing miserably. This is dramatically unsustainable. There's no way we can stay in this particular behavior. Anyone who watches worldwide wrestling knew that Trump would win. What happened was completely possible. Shawari Kate. You know, it's funny. There's a lot of people that did not think that there was any chance for him to win that election. Like, Huffington Post literally had Hillary Clinton winning at 98%. Think about that. You go to bed that night thinking, the world is good. Hillary Clinton is going to win this election, and she's going to make America great again, not like that asshole Donald Trump. And they woke up to a country where Donald Trump stumped a mud hole in Hillary Clinton, with the exception of California. I've shown that map multiple times. She lost tremendously. She only won California. She won it by like 3 million votes, but it was less than 3 million votes. Fact is, if it wasn't for California, Donald Trump would have won this election by like 3 million votes. It's amazing. Robert Schultz, quick welcome. Quick welcome? What's wrong? I don't know what that means. Love you, show Jamal. Thanks for being on Real Progressives with us tonight, Brom. I was glad to be there, Brom. It's glad to be there, man. Poofendorf. Euros won't do anything to arrest these two criminals. Euros are the service dogs of Uncle Sam. Unfortunately, I'm afraid that you're right. They're not going to touch her. They're not going to touch her. Think about that. Like, I know I harp on this. I honestly know I harp on this. And I was telling somebody else, I know that all of those videos are going to get demonetized. One of those videos is probably not going to be shown. I don't care. It is a big fucking deal. We ran a gulag. The United States ran a torture gulag. We had a black site in Thailand, not to mention places where we were dropping people off so they could be tortured by other countries. That's what we were doing. Now, Obama making the speech saying this is not in our values. This is exactly our values because we were doing it. And there was no consequence for the things that we were doing. Meaning, at the end of Bush's tenure, when Bush came out saying, yes, I tortured some people. Owned it. Yes, I did. What are you going to do about it? No, there weren't weapons of mass destruction. Yes, I cherry-picked information and I went into a country and I killed 1 million people and completely destabilized that part of the globe. The next president comes in and says, we're looking forward, we're not looking backwards. Implicit in that, implicit in looking forward, is that everything that just took place is now perfectly permissible. What are you going to do? You've already set the precedent. If the next president goes into a country, the precedent has already been set. Nothing took place. Nobody was prosecuted for those crimes. It's fair game. If President Donald Trump wanted to do the same thing, Obama has just told President Donald Trump that President Donald Trump can do whatever he wants, that Donald Trump is a goddamn king. If you want to stop the behavior, you need to prosecute the behavior. That's my point. Looking forward and not looking back is fucking ridiculous. It is one of the most ridiculous sayings that I've ever heard. It's a cop-out. That's what it is. You had a president that massively overstepped his authority and completely destabilized and destroyed a country. That's the reality of the situation. Why is that allowed? And why is there no consequence for that? That's what I fundamentally don't understand. If the European court wants to have any legitimacy at all, do you know the European court is going after Duterte, the one in the Philippines? They're going after him, the one in the Philippines. George Bush is out there finger painting right now. Tony Blair is getting back in the political circuit. Both of those people should be put under a prison. I mean, come on. Where's the legitimacy of the court? Where is the legitimacy of the International Criminal Court when you have people walking around that were willing to do this? They absolutely lose their legitimacy in this process. I mean, it's fucking amazing. That torturer, the woman who was overseeing the torture gulag in Thailand, the black site in Thailand, where they were breaking other human beings, where they were keeping other human beings in coffins and stress positions and rectal feedings of those human beings, throwing cold water on those people, hitting and slapping and punching and beating. The person who was overseeing this particular regime now may be director of the CIA. That is a big fucking deal. Where's Chuck Schumer? Paging Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer says he's not going to get together with the Democrats to try to block this. There's your resistance. There is your resistance. There is a torturer in chief that's going to be set for the CIA, and Chuck Schumer, who's supposed to be head of the goddamn resistance in the Senate, is not doing anything about it. If you want to know what people stand for, that's what people stand for. Catherine 112371, you are greatly appreciated, Jamal. Catherine, you are greatly appreciated too. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. Greeting libertarian Iola, Catherine. Up Chuck Schumer works for Israel, not us. Aquatic Dave. Do you hear his speech at the I think it was the AIPAC meeting? He said something like the reason why there's conflict in the Middle East is because the Muslims don't believe in the Torah. He's fucking insane. So is the other panderer. I can't think of her name. Kamala Harris. She gets up there saying it too. It was their I carry hot sauce in my purse moment. That's what it was. Hillary Clinton's to a black crowd. She's like, yeah, I carry hot sauce in my purse. Because in her head, that's the image of blacks. Blacks just walk around with hot sauce. It was Kamala Harris's hot sauce moment. They were trying to shuck and jive for the AIPAC coalition. That's exactly what it was. Robert Schultz. Join Man and Talk with James. It's on now. Robert Schultz. My aquatic system is planning a stage. Is it working? FUKHR. Fuck Hillary Clinton. Good discourse. Lucan J. Cold-blooded, Jamal. Harlan St. Clair. I haven't said anything that's cold-blooded. Everything that I said is absolutely and perfectly true. Everything I said is true. Thanks, Jamal, for your objective commentary. I was supposed to be going to sleep, but it was good. I'm still awake. Lisa Hausman. Thank you very much, Lisa. This issue bugs me. You can look at my videos for today. I've done like 5 of these. It bugs me to no end. It just blows me away that can take place. It really blows me away. Jamal, please read this comment. I read the comment. I'm assuming that was a comment you wanted me to read. Harlan St. Clair, that's the key. No consequence. We are in unbalanced, no real adversary, only someone to fear. Agreed. I have a theory that the United States presidency is decided in the ring next time. Rocky versus Trump. The Rock versus Trump. I don't want The Rock to be president, dude. I'm sorry. I disagree with you on that one. Let's see. Just got a notification for this. I am pissed. Oh, I'm sorry, Shirley. Read his comment. Read whose comment? I don't see what you're talking about. Let's see. Yeah, dude, I don't see it. Yeah, dude, I don't see the comment. You're gonna have to rewrite it. Just saw James Clapper said we're at war with Russia. Yeah, they have been ever since the election. Did you hear that? Yeah. I showed that video. That was an amazing video. They put a spy on TV, a spook on TV. Hey, spook, what do you think is going to take place? We're at war with Russia. We're at war with Russia. We've been at war with Russia ever since the election. CNN is hiring spooks to scare the public down. It's amazing. And by the way, take a look at this. Take a look at this. You're going to like this. I was fascinated by this. Let me see if I can find it. Right here. Take a look at this. Gina Haspel, MSNBC. Notice the source. CIA website, New York Times. They're talking about Gina Haspel. Ran CIA's first overseas detention site in Thailand where she oversaw rough interrogation of detainees. It's called torture. It is called torture. It is not enhanced interrogation. It is not rough interrogation. It is torture. She broke and mangled other human beings. It was against our laws. It was against international laws. MSNBC is whitewashing this woman's record already. It was a black site in Thailand where she was torturing other human beings. Call it what it is. And then destroy the evidence. They have a cable with her destroying the evidence. They've proven that she destroyed the evidence. They even told her the means and the methods and the ways to destroy the evidence. The New York Times, I'm sorry, MSNBC, rough interrogation. But when we're talking about other countries, oh yeah, they tortured. Those are animals. They tortured. They tortured. They're lying to you. They're fundamentally, in tiny, small, incremental ways, lying to you. Grinning libertarian. I love real liberals that oppose the anti-Putin hype. Grinning libertarian. Thank you, grinning libertarian. I don't like the war talk. Look, if I'm watching a movie and the guy gives this rousing speech and there's barbarians at the gates and it's like, we're going to have to go and kick some ass. We need to save our women and children. Are you with me? Like, yes! And he gives this rousing speech where people stand up and they pull out their weapons and their pitchforks and they're ready for war. Fair enough. Fair enough. There are no barbarians at our gates. These are enemies that we are manufacturing. This is all in these people's heads. Understand what's taking place. This is all in their heads. This is not real. They are hyping this up and being hysterical. And even if they did interfere in our election, where is our moral standing? We've destroyed countries in the last 18 years. We've destroyed multiple countries in the last 18 years. Where is our standing to be this hysterical and upset? And by the way, is it even productive to be this hysterical and upset? If you want to fix your electoral system, fix your electoral system. But fact is, slavery, Jim Crow, cops shooting people in the face and walking. These things are not things that were made by Russia. These things are habits, patterns of the American system as it stands. That wasn't Russia. Cheating Bernie Sanders, those people being pissed off, that wasn't Russia. That was people being cheated. There's a difference in those things. The environmentalists who are fighting at Standing Rock and Dapple, when Obama is pardoning the Thanksgiving turkey while they're real indigenous people getting their heads bashed in Standing Rock. That wasn't Russia. That was this policy. That was American policy. There were things that people were doing in the society itself to create the political atmosphere in the society. That was not Russia. Russia is used as a crutch. Russia is used to obfuscate. And again, this is not a defense of Putin. This is the defense of the point of we are creating monsters where there are no monsters, purely for political ends. And this is not a defense of Trump either, by the way. This is the defense of the posture that we're taking in this country. New offensive from a week ago. Did you hear about our ships moving to the Black Sea? Devon Mead, I did hear about our ships moving to the Black Sea. That does not make me feel any better. I mean, Vladimir Putin is right on this. Our missile systems are at their gates. We've been pushing other countries in Europe to expand their military budgets, meaning to invest more money in the military budgets. We do have missile systems near their borders. We have been moving their ships or our ships to their area of the globe. We are doing things from the to antagonize the situation. We have troops at this moment in Syria. Russia has said that they will fire on anybody to protect their Syrian troops. We are on, by God's grace, we have not gotten into a larger conflict with Russia at this point, but we are slowly inching in that direction. Democrats and some lefty channels who call themselves lefties push Donald Trump in a particular way, saying if Donald Trump moves those troops out of Syria, that is evidence that Donald Trump is a Putin puppet. Think about the political incentives built into that particular situation that says if you pull your troops back, if you're not antagonistic with Vladimir Putin, if you're less antagonistic with Vladimir Putin, that is evidence that you yourself are a Putin puppet. If Donald Trump stops funding terrorists in that region of the globe, Donald Trump becomes a Putin puppet because Donald Trump doesn't want to pay terrorists to undermine another government. This is what these guys are saying. This is what these guys are saying. They're saying amazing, insane stuff. And they're absolutely calling themselves progressives. I had Chrome open and got notified again. Nothing from Firefox or IE. Super woke as fuck. Haley threatened Syria and the UN. Yes, Haley did. Yes, Haley did. Yes, she did. Nikki Haley gets up saying, we are willing to go unilaterally if the other countries don't sign on to our agreement. Think about that. Either you're with us or you're without us, but we're willing to act on our own. We're willing to act on our own. Now, Cenk Uygur would say, well, those are Nerf bombs. Those are Nerf bombs. Those are Nerf bombs. Those don't hurt. They're just Nerf bombs. Yeah, she threatened him again. She threatened him again. Super work as fuck is like the best name ever. It is the best name ever, right? I love saying it. Love saying it. I was referring to Jamal's show last night. This was... Oh, New News. We'll check it out. Yeah. I'm with CFAR and the Real Progressives now, thanks to Kelly Lane and Victor Tiffany. Hey, you. Hi. Haley is always threatening, hoofing, and hollering. Yeah, she's a maniac. She's an absolute maniac. She's terrifying. That woman is terrifying. That would be an illegal war. It is an illegal war. That's my point. Legolas. That's my point. We're in that country. We have no justification for being in Syria. What law? What has Congress passed? What fig leaf are they using for us to be in that country? What? What are they using? They're using an authorization that took place for Iraq. That has nothing to do with Syria. They're using this on a fig leaf. They've expanded the definition and the meaning of that particular bill to believe that they can go into every country in the Middle East. And Congress has not pulled him back one iota. Congress has let the president do whatever the president wanted. When Bernie Sanders came out saying the war in Syria, it looks like it's illegal. Yes, it's fucking illegal. It's illegal. Call it what it is. Russia is working with Syria. That's legal. They've asked for help. They're working in tandem with one another. That's legal cooperation. Whatever you want to say about it, whatever you believe they're doing that's not necessarily right, that's legal cooperation. We are in that country illegally. If imagine the situation, the ridiculousness of Russia putting troops in Mexico. Say there was a drug war in Mexico. The United States helps Mexico. Russia puts troops in Mexico. Imagine the ridiculousness of this. What would the United States say in this scenario? We need you to leave. Oh, we're staying. We're staying. We're not going anywhere. And then Russia attacks Mexico's troops. What would the United States be saying? That is literally the situation that's taking place in Syria right now at this moment. What would they say? We were willing to go to nuclear war where they put missiles in Cuba. We have forces at their border. We have troops in that country illegally doing airstrikes. All of this stuff is illegal. That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you. All right, guys. My powers are fading. Look, guys, I really do appreciate you guys showing up. Honestly do. You guys make the show. Like having the conversation and being able to talk back and forth. I love it. I absolutely love it. You keep me on my toes, and when I fuck up, you call me on the fuck ups. So, the other way. Robert Schultz, thank you. Stephanie, thank you. Robert again, thank you. Catherine, Robert, and Grinning Libertarian. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate all of your help. It really does. I mean, I'm trying to expand the channel, and expanding the channel, all of this helps. My wife and I will be moving and we'll be traveling, but I'm still taking this stuff with me. So wherever we go, whatever place in the world where we end up, I will still have my show and we still be broadcasting. But tomorrow I have Grant Cameron. He's going to be here at 5 p.m. And Hard Bastard is going to be here at 7 p.m. And I am going to end this so I can prepare for Grant Cameron tomorrow, because that is going to be an amazing fucking interview. So thank all of you guys for your help. Thank all of you guys for showing up. And I absolutely appreciate it. You guys have an awesome fucking night.